Hey friends, welcome or welcome back. For those of you who are new here, my name is Bridget and I make home and DIY content over here on YouTube. I also have an Instagram page at ByBridgetDIY. If you haven't already, you're welcome to follow me over there. And of course, it means the world to me if you could like and subscribe. And I would especially love it if you enjoyed this video to have you share it with one of your friends so that more people can find my channel. It makes me so excited to know that I can inspire people that I maybe haven't even met yet. So this is really exciting for me and I hope you enjoy the projects we have today. Let's get started. So I know it's only September, but a lot of people get really excited about Halloween and really like jumping right in with those projects and that home decor. And while I'm not typically someone who really enjoys like straight up Halloween decor with, skeletons and ghosts and all that, I did decide that I wanted to go a little bit outside my comfort zone and create something that was really fun that still fit that theme. But with a catch, I wanted to find as many things as I possibly could from the Dollar Tree so that these would be very inexpensive projects for you guys. I hope you love what we came up with. These are 2 projects and in total they cost less than $10. Let's go ahead and jump into the first one. For today's first project, I'm using 2 items that you can find at virtually any dollar store near you, a bowl and some Mancala beads. With a little help from some spray paint and glue, I created my own cute fall decor little treat bowl, and I really love how it turned out. I can't wait to show you. This project is a perfect one for beginners, so if you feel like that's your level, it's for you. Let's get started. There are quite a few dish options that you can find at dollar stores, but for this particular project, I just really wanted a very simple kind of cereal bowl sized one, so I decided to go for this one right here. First, I'm going in with some 150 grit sandpaper. Now I'm just using this to gently kind of rough up the outer edge of the bowl just a bit. This is going to give a little bit of grip to this texture and make it easier to glue in the next step. Because I wanted something that was really flat on one side, I decided to go for some Mancala beads that I found in the craft section of Dollar Tree. This industrial strength glue is one of my absolute favorites to use for projects like this, where I have 2 very smooth surfaces. It is super strong, so I decided to wear finger protection for this first part, but later I took them off because honestly my fingers didn't actually get that close to the glue. But the thing about this is that it cures in about 15 to 30 seconds, so you have to hold it in place for maybe 5 to 10 seconds, and then you can release it and know that it's going to harden very quickly, so you will have to work kind of fast. For this part here, I'm just slowly adding more and more of these Mancala beads, always going directly across from the previous one so that I get a nice symmetrical pattern. I ended up with 8 Mancala beads here along the top, and then as the next step, I'm just going to be adding in 8 more along the bottom. Now, I really like having the bowl upside down for this part because I'm able to rest the Mancala bead right on top of the surface that I'm working on, and that makes sure that in the end, they are all perfectly even and level. After my top and bottom guide Mancala beads are in place, I'm just going in between each one of them and adding in 2 more Mancala beads. Now these ones, you might have to be a little bit specific on the size, so you'll see that I kind of test a few to make sure I find one that really fits before putting glue on it. In the end, I'm going to go around the entire bowl doing this, but here's a sneak peek of what it's going to look like for just one stripe. The final step of this project is to add in several layers of matte black spray paint. Definitely make sure that they're completely dry between each one, and you'll want to do this from a variety of angles. I first did it from the top, waited for it to dry, then flipped it over and sprayed the inside, and even after that I actually picked it up and then sprayed through the edges just to make sure I really coated each individual bead. I would love to hear your thoughts on candy corn. I know that it is definitely a controversial Halloween candy. I personally love it, so I grabbed a couple of bags of it for this project. But if you have strong feelings either way, comment below, let me know how you feel. Honestly, I love how this project turned out. Of course, it's just this perfect balance of a nice, sophisticated matte black, but also having that pop of orange in the candy to make it really feel like Halloween. If you try something like this, definitely send pictures or post them on Instagram with the hashtag ByBridgetDIY, and I would love to see how they turn out. For our second project, we'll be mixing several mediums to create a really cute Halloween fall sign. I think my favorite thing about this project is that it is extremely customizable. You can change the size of it, you can change the colors, you could even change the materials that you use, and just make sure that it fits in perfectly with the decor you already have in your home. This one was really fun to create, and I hope you guys love it as much as I do. Let's get started. I was pleasantly surprised with the variety of canvases available at the dollar store, but for my project I was just looking for a little one, so this is the size that I ended up grabbing. If you've watched my last few videos, you probably recognize this terracotta paint, and honestly, I'm just obsessed with it. I don't think it's going away anytime soon. I love not only the color, and it really does look like terracotta, but it even has this tiny texture to it as well, which is perfect. So I'm just going in here with a foam craft brush, and I am covering the entire front of the canvas as well as the outer edges. Here I'm just going in again with a second coat. This is after the first coat is completely dried, of course, and this is going to help it be even more opaque. I actually ended up with 3 coats in total by the time I was done, and it was really worth it because it ended up being very opaque and looked great. Dollar Tree has a pretty good selection of Halloween decor, but I wanted something fairly simple, so I just grabbed a pack of these cute wooden signs. Three little wooden signs are included in this package, but for our project we're just going to be needing one of them. You're welcome to save the other ones and use them for something else later. I've incorporated this brass gilding paint in several projects throughout my home, and I decided that I really wanted to use it again for this one just to tie everything together. So all I'm doing here is just covering the entire front of this wooden piece with that gilding paint. This was super easy and very fast, and I also love that it dries quickly as well. I've temporarily placed the lettering on top of the canvas so that I can use it as a guide for me to pencil in outlines for a few abstract shapes in the corners. I'm filling in one of these 2 shapes with some matte black craft paint. I didn't actually get this one from the dollar store, but I did see that they have it there, so if you need to, you can find it. I'm just going in, filling in the entire shape as well as the edges. Now I'm doing the same thing in the other corner inside the shape that I made, but I'm mixing together some green and black so that I can get a nice dark green. Both of these kind of abstract shapes are going to serve as guides for me and fill in any gaps when I add yarn on top of them in the next step. Once again, I was pleasantly surprised with the variety of colors that they had available at the dollar store, but for my project I just went with this kind of muted green and this really nice dark charcoal color. I took about 1.5 yards of the charcoal yarn, and I'm just doing a standard 3-strand braid with it. Honestly, it took a long time to finish, so I decided to double up the strands for the green yarn, and that went much faster. Here's a side-by-side comparison of the 2 of them just for reference. Next, I'm adding Fabri-Tac glue along the edges of the design and gluing from the outside in. I found that this method works best because it allows you to maintain the shape you originally designed and then just fill in any gaps. Sorry, I got a little off camera here, but when you reach the end, you're going to tie another knot to secure it, and then you're going to tuck that tail underneath and just trim off the excess. On the charcoal side, the background paint really came in handy because it was harder to have a completely gapless design with this thinner braid. The glue looks a bit shiny in this step as it's peeking through, but it dries matte and wasn't noticeable in the end. I'm adding the same thin glue that I used in the bowl, just to a few different spots on the back of this. I'm not covering the whole thing because that would be overkill. I just need enough that it will adhere nicely. I decided to use my fingers on the back of the canvas to brace it so I could apply sufficient pressure while the glue cured. And just like that, I was able to create a piece of seasonal decor that fit in perfectly with the color scheme of my home. My favorite part of this project is the variety of textures it has. Each one adds dimension and visual interest to the final piece. I love how this came together for just a few bucks. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you loved these two projects as much as I did. Honestly, as someone who's usually not that into Halloween decor, I was very impressed with how well these two turned out, and I really enjoyed making them with you. I hope that you feel inspired, as always, to look around you and just find things, even cheap things from like the dollar store, and turn them into something really, really beautiful. As always, you can find me on Instagram at ByBridgetDIY, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share here on YouTube. Thank you so much, and I will see you next time. Bye!